Be honest with yourself for a second. How many times have you started something full of motivation, only to watch it quietly fade away? Maybe you promised yourself, "This time I'll study English every day." Or maybe it was the gym. You swore you'd go 5 times a week. Or perhaps you wanted to wake up earlier, finally get organized, and be more productive. And for a while, it felt amazing. You stuck with it for a few days, maybe even a whole week. You felt unstoppable. But then, little by little, the spark started to die. One day you skipped, then another. And before you knew it, the routine was gone. That fire you felt at the beginning, it disappeared almost as quickly as it arrived. The truth is, this is one of the biggest struggles almost all of us face. Starting isn't really the problem. Continuing is. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack together today. In this episode, I want to show you how to build real consistency, not through guilt or pressure, but by understanding why we stop and how we can keep going. We'll talk about mindset, identity, small daily actions, and the power of momentum. And here's the best part. You'll practice English while doing it. I'll guide you in slow, clear, natural English, so you're not only learning how to stay consistent in life, but you're also improving your listening and shadowing skills at the same time. So let's start with something important. What does it really mean to be consistent? A lot of people think consistency means never missing a single day. They think it's about being flawless, perfect, always on top of things. But that's not true. Real consistency isn't about perfection. It's about coming back again and again to the thing you promised yourself. Picture a river flowing through a valley. Some days it's rushing fast, other days it moves quietly, but it always moves forward. That's consistency. It's not dramatic. It's not always exciting. It's steady. It's reliable. It shows up. And that's exactly the kind of strength you need to build. Think of brushing your teeth. Nobody wakes up thrilled to do it, but you still do it every single day because it's just part of who you are. That's the kind of quiet, unshakable strength we're talking about. Consistency isn't about doing it because it feels great every time. It's about doing it because it matters to you, because it's part of your identity. So why do people lose motivation so quickly? A big reason is this: we expect results too fast. You start learning English and think you'll sound fluent in a month. You go to the gym and hope for visible muscles in 2 weeks. You try to build a new habit and think you'll feel transformed overnight. But growth doesn't work like that. It takes time. And when the results don't show up right away, your brain whispers, "What's the point?" This is why so many people stop. They confuse motivation with consistency. Motivation is a spark. It gets you started. But sparks die out quickly. What keeps the fire burning is discipline, purpose, and daily action. If you've lost motivation before, don't beat yourself up. It doesn't mean you're weak. It just means you were leaning on something temporary. What lasts isn't motivation. What lasts is habit, identity, and purpose. And that's what I want you to begin thinking about. Not just what you do, but why you do it. Let's pause here. Ask yourself honestly, what do you really want? Not what sounds good, not what others expect. But deep down, what do you want? Do you want to speak English because it makes you feel confident, free, and respected? Or are you only doing it because someone told you it's important? The clearer you are about your own reasons, the easier it will be to stay consistent. Because here's the truth. People don't stay consistent with things that don't truly matter to them. So I want you to take a second and reflect. What kind of life are you trying to build? Because once you're clear on that, everything else becomes easier. And this brings us to one of the most powerful tools for staying consistent. Identity. If you say, I want to learn English, that's just a goal. But if you shift it and say, I am the kind of person who learns every day, that's identity. And identity is powerful. It shapes your behavior. When you see yourself as a learner, as someone who grows, as someone who shows up no matter what, you naturally begin to act according to that story. Even on the days when you're tired, busy, or unmotivated, you'll still find a way. Not because it's easy, but because it's who you are. That's exactly the shift I want you to make. From goal to identity, from I want to I am, tell yourself, I am the kind of person who shows up. I am the kind of person who finishes what I start. Repeat it until it becomes natural, because the moment you believe it, you start living it. But here's the question, what's stopping you? Why do so many of us struggle to stay consistent, even when we care? Most people say, I got lazy. But laziness is almost never the full story. Often it hides something deeper. Maybe it's a lack of time. Maybe it's constant distractions. Maybe it's fear of failure, fear of not being good enough. Or maybe you're simply overwhelmed with too many things pulling you in different directions. The good news is, once you can name your obstacle, you can face it. But most people don't pause to ask. They just blame themselves and move on. So I want you to do something different. Stop, get curious, ask yourself, what is really stopping me from being the consistent version of myself? Say it out loud, write it down, because once it's real, you can deal with it. Now let's talk about another trap that quietly destroys consistency, chasing big plans instead of celebrating small wins. So many people set themselves up with huge expectations. I'll study English for 2 hours every day. I'll run 5 kilometers every morning. I'll meditate for 30 minutes before bed. It sounds impressive, but here's the reality. Life gets messy, and those big promises quickly turn into zero action. That's why the real secret isn't in the dramatic plan. It's in the tiny wins. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 page, 1 short conversation. These may not look exciting, but small, steady actions will always beat huge, inconsistent ones. Think of it like planting seeds. You don't grow a forest in a single day. You plant 1 seed, water it, and trust the process. Even 5 minutes of effort builds momentum. And the more you repeat these small wins, the more you begin to trust yourself again. Because consistency isn't just about building a habit, it's about building self-respect. Every time you follow through, you prove to yourself, I do what I say I'll do. And that creates confidence. Here's another powerful technique. Make it ridiculously easy to start. Most of the struggle with consistency happens before we even begin. You tell yourself, I'll do it later, but later rarely comes. That's why you have to lower the barrier. If you want to practice English, leave your notebook open on your desk. If you want to work out, put your shoes by the door. If you want to write, lay out your tools the night before. Remove the friction. If starting takes more than 30 seconds, you're likely to skip it. So make the very first step so small, so easy, that saying no feels almost impossible. Once you start, momentum takes over. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to begin. And once you begin, everything else feels easier. Let me share with you one of my favorite rules, the 2-day rule. Never miss more than 2 days in a row. If you skip one day, fine, life happens. But if you skip 2, you're already forming a brand new habit. And that habit is not doing the thing. So protect yourself with the 2-day rule. Even if you're tired, even if you only have 1 minute, do something on that second day. Say one phrase in English. Write one sentence in your notebook. Take one tiny step. That's enough to keep the habit alive. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about protecting the identity you're building. But here's a tough one. What happens when you're consistent, but the results just don't show up? This is one of the biggest enemies of progress, frustration. You keep going, but your effort feels invisible. Nobody notices. You don't notice. And suddenly you think, why bother? Here's the truth. Results always come after consistency, never before. You don't get strong first and then go to the gym. You go to the gym first, and then you get strong. You don't speak fluently and then start practicing English. You practice first, and fluency comes later. Think of it like filling a bucket drop by drop. For a long time, it looks like nothing is happening. Then one day, it overflows. That's why you have to trust the drops. Even when it seems like nothing is changing on the outside, something is already happening inside you. And let's be honest, you will have days when you don't feel like doing anything. Days when you are tired, distracted, or just plain unmotivated. On those days, remember this. Your feelings are temporary, but your goals are bigger than your mood. If you wait for motivation every single time, you'll never move forward. Think of brushing your teeth again. You don't need to love it. You just do it. Consistency is the same. It's not about giving your best effort every day. It's about doing something, even if it's the smallest thing, on your worst days. The next time you want to skip, remind yourself, this isn't about today. It's about the person I'm becoming. And that brings us to habits. Habits are powerful because they put your brain on autopilot. Once something becomes a habit, it's no longer a decision. It's just part of your rhythm. You don't wake up and wonder, should I brush my teeth today? You just do it. That's the magic of habit. It saves energy, removes doubt, and keeps you moving forward. So if you want consistency, you need to build routines around your goals. Maybe it's 5 minutes of English listening every morning. Maybe it's journaling in the evening. Whatever it is, attach it to something you already do. Make it part of your daily rhythm. Because once it becomes automatic, it becomes unshakable, even when life throws chaos your way. But there's another danger that often sneaks in: comparison. The moment you start looking at other people, you begin to measure your progress against theirs. Someone else speaks English more smoothly. Someone else has the body you wish you had. Someone else seems more successful. And suddenly, your own effort feels tiny, maybe even pointless. But here's the truth. Every single person is running their own race. You don't know their full story, the setbacks, the years of struggle, the failures they don't show. All you see is the highlight reel. And when you compare yourself to that, you lose focus on your own path. Consistency grows best when you stay in your own lane, with your own reasons, your own pace, your own race. Keep watering your own plant instead of staring at someone else's garden. That's how you build strength that lasts. Let's talk about something else that often discourages people: invisible progress. Most of the time, your growth won't show up in the mirror right away. You won't always hear it in your voice or see it written in your results. But just because you can't measure it doesn't mean it isn't happening. Sometimes progress is hidden deep inside you. Your mindset is shifting. Your confidence is slowly rising. Your habits are quietly taking root. This kind of progress doesn't shout. It whispers. But over time, those whispers become the strongest kind of growth. So don't give up just because you can't measure it yet. Stay the course, and one day you'll look back and realize how far you've come, even if you didn't notice it while it was happening. Another trap is waiting for the so-called perfect time to start. You know the story. I'll begin when life calms down. I'll start when I feel ready. I'll do it after this week is over. But life never really calms down. There's always noise, stress, and distraction. If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll wait forever. The truth is, the perfect time doesn't exist. The real time is now, right here, right in the middle of your uncertainty. That's when real change begins. Start messy, start unprepared, start scared. Because once you begin, you can adjust and learn along the way. Action creates clarity. Waiting creates nothing. And once you've started, how do you keep yourself on track? One simple but powerful method is to track your consistency. Use a notebook, a wall calendar, or even a simple app. Each day you show up, mark it down. Put an X on the calendar. It may sound basic, but it works. Because as those marks add up, you begin to see proof of your own effort. You start to feel proud. It even becomes a game. Don't break the chain. And if you miss a day, you'll spot it right away and get back on track before it snowballs. Tracking turns invisible progress into something you can actually see. Now let's settle a question. Which is more important, discipline or motivation? The answer is discipline every time. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. One day you feel excited, the next day you don't. You can't control that. But discipline, that's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Discipline means showing up even when you don't feel like it. And here's the irony. Most of the time, once you start, motivation follows. You don't sit around waiting to feel ready. You begin, and motivation meets you halfway. But let's be real. Sometimes you will slip up. You'll miss a day, or maybe even a week. You'll fall back into old patterns. That doesn't make you a failure. It makes you human. The real question is, what do you do next? Do you throw in the towel, or do you return? Consistency has never been about perfection. It's about always coming back. So when you stumble, be kind to yourself. Forgive yourself. Say, yes, I slipped, but I'm still here. I'm still trying. That's real strength. Not flawless effort, but the willingness to keep returning. Now, how long does it actually take to become consistent? You've probably heard numbers, 21 days, 66 days. But the truth is, it's not about counting. It's about repetition with intention. The more you repeat something with meaning, the faster it becomes natural. It will take longer than you want, but less time than you fear. The key is to stay with it. Don't rush. Let the roots grow. Because once consistency takes hold, it becomes part of you. And this leaves us with one final question. Are you willing to become the person you admire? Think of someone steady, disciplined, confident. What if that person isn't a stranger? What if it's simply you, a few months from now? The only thing standing between you and that version of yourself is the effort you put in today. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have huge results right away. You just need to keep showing up through the boredom, through the doubt, through the painfully slow progress. Every time you do, you're shaping yourself into the person you've always wanted to be. Not by magic, not by waiting for motivation, but by choosing, repeating, and showing up, even when it's tough, especially when it's tough. So as you step into tomorrow, remember this. Motivation starts the fire, but consistency keeps it alive. The small actions you take today are shaping the person you'll be in the future. And that future version of you, the confident one, the fluent one, the strong one, is waiting. The only question is, will you keep showing up long enough to meet them? And that's where we'll wrap up for today. I hope this episode gave you not just English practice, but also a reminder of what you are capable of when you choose consistency over perfection. If you found even one idea here that inspired you, I'd love to hear it. Share your thoughts in the comments. What habit are you going to stay consistent with this week? Writing it down makes it real. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, because we do this together every single day. Slow, clear English that helps you grow not only your language skills, but also your mindset. And before you go, I want you to keep the momentum alive. If today's talk spoke to you, I think you'll really enjoy this other episode I made about insert topic, ein, link to related video, e.g. thinking, directly in English without translating. It's the perfect next step to keep building your confidence. So stay with it, keep showing up. And I'll be right here with you in the next episode.